This is Awaken Within, with Rocco Ferramisco interviewing renowned Reiki master Brett Bevell, who will explain what Reiki is for those new to the subject, as well as explaining psychic Reiki, and a few new energies he's been working with. And he'll reveal a possible historic energy healer whose identity might surprise you. We also have a special treat for you. Master Brett will be giving a free psychic Reiki session right here in this video for everyone watching. So stay tuned. It might be just what you need.
So I'm Rocco Anthony Ferramisco, and I'm here with Reiki practitioner and author Brett Bevell. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay. And so could you explain a little in general what Reiki is?
Sure. So Reiki is a form of energy healing that can be traced back to a Japanese mystic named Mikao Usui, who lived in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The word Reiki literally translates from Japanese most commonly as universal life force energy, though it can also be translated as divine life force energy, which is my preferred interpretation of it because I really feel like it's coming from a higher source. It's usually traditionally taught as either a 3 or a 4 degree system. In the first degree, a person would receive an initiation, getting sacred symbols in their crown chakra at the top of the head and also in their hands that would allow the flow of the energy to move through them. And then they would learn hand positions for doing a treatment on themselves or others. If they wanted to move deeper into the lineage, the second degree, they would receive another initiation. They would learn 3 sacred symbols, one which makes the energy flow stronger, another which allows you to focus it for mental emotional healing, and a third of which allows you to send it distantly through time and space. And then in the lineage I was taught, the 3rd degree is the master level, so you become initiated again, and you learn how to use all 6 Reiki symbols to initiate others, basically turning that energetic light switch on in their system. There's some schools that teach that in 2 parts, so for them it's a 4 degree system, but it's often common either as a 3 or a 4 degree system. A lot of my work as a Reiki master has been about exploring territory that's not traditionally taught. So I like to look at ways to expand the lineage, ways to bring the energy in that are beyond those traditional steps that I just mentioned. And my most recent exploration of that is in my book called Psychic Reiki, which basically works with the practitioner being in telepathic communication with the intelligence of the energy itself. And it makes it much more easier to access the energy in that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so throughout your work, you have, these energies that you work with, like the divine rainbow and the light of the eternal one. Could you give us a little detail on your self-discoveries on on how you're putting it together in this book, this new book?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a lot of different modalities out there. Something you mentioned, what I call the divine rainbow. So to me, I often hear people refer to every form of energy healing as Reiki, and I wouldn't say that that's true. Reiki is simply one band of light in that rainbow of divine possibilities of energy healing. There are other bands of light within that as well. There's vortex healing. There's the energy I call light of the eternal one. There's an energy called magical awakening. There's a lot of other energies too, as well as energies that I haven't even been trained in or maybe even experienced. So there's a lot of possibilities out there. In my own experience, I have downloaded or channeled in, if you want to use that term, a few of those energies. So one's called Light of the Eternal One, which was the subject of my book, Energy Healing for Everyone. And that specific vibration has a close connection with these ancient Essenes, who were a mystical sect of Judaism that some people believe, including the late American psychic Edgar Cayce, believed that Christ, that Jesus was part of the Essene group. There's also an energy called magical awakening that I channeled in that has much more of a playful, magical aspect to it that's connected with the energy of Merlin. That's actually my preferred modality. If I had the choice of any modality that I use when I'm in a session, I use usually the magical awakening work. But the psychic Reiki work with the book that I just came out about, that energy is still Reiki, but it's just a different approach to accessing it. And with all these different approaches, or these different downloads, if you want to say it, they came to me just through mystical experiences that I had. So the Reiki concept came to me when I was traveling in Laos in 2007, and I had an experience of a visitation from the spirit of Mikao Usui. And during that visitation, I felt a ball of white light come from him into the area of my heart chakra. And from that came a lot of information that became part of some of my Reiki books, but also there was an energetic device that came with that I called the Reiki crystal. And the Reiki crystal is not a physical crystal, it's just an energetic crystal that, if you could see it, sits in front of your heart chakra. And it's made out of the energy of Reiki, which means it also has the intelligence that's behind the energy of Reiki. And any person who has that energetic crystal basically can communicate with the energy directly, just simply by either talking to the crystal, either with their voice or simply with their mind, simply asking it to do things with their own thoughts. And I found using this technique in healings has been quite profound and quite powerful. So that's why I came out with this new book called Psychic Reiki.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool stuff, I have to admit.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about are you still working at the Omega Institute, or? Yeah,
I work at the Omega Institute. So
somebody wanted to partake in your genius and wanted to come down there. What would they get?
Well, yeah. So there's different avenues to explore that. So the weekend of June 1st through 3rd, we're having a Reiki conference here that I will be part of. So the Saturday night of that conference, I'll actually be empowering people to these psychic Reiki techniques and teaching those. But we also have 5 other Reiki masters who are also very well known, each teaching a specific kind of gem of their own Reiki wisdom. So it's going to be a very powerful weekend. I also teach a traditional Reiki weekend, the weekend of June 29th through July 1st, a traditional 1st and 2nd degree Reiki training. And then in September, the middle of September, I'm leading a weekend Reiki Master course here at Omega Institute as well. And I also often, usually not every Sunday, but most Sundays, I offer an energy healing to the R&R participants at Omega. So sometimes people come to Omega and instead of taking a workshop, they just take R&R classes basically to be in rest and relaxation. And usually on most of the Sundays that happens, I'll offer a 1-hour group healing based on these psychic Reiki techniques.
And yeah, I'll post links below of it, like everything that you're doing,
sure.
Because it's amazing. Now, before we go, could you give us a healing?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Thank you for asking that. So I'll just ask first that anybody who's watching this video, make sure that you're not watching it in a car, or that you're driving or doing anything that you could, that you would need your full attention to, because often during these healings, people can go either to sleep. It's not uncommon for people to fall asleep, or to go into a slightly altered state. So again, make sure that you're not like cooking or driving a car or doing anything like that while you're watching this. And just so that you have a sense of how this works, I'm simply just going to talk out loud to my Reiki crystal and tell it to send to everybody who's watching this, and including you, Rocco, so that you can experience the healing too, if you'd like that. I'm assuming, hoping so.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to begin just by asking my Reiki crystal to form around everybody who's participating in this healing something called a Reiki sphere of divine grace, which, if you could see it, would be like a huge egg or a huge bubble filled with the light of Reiki, totally enveloping everybody who's watching this video. And asking as well that my Reiki crystal create a Reiki portal within that sphere of divine grace, a Reiki portal to the Archangel Raphael, to bring in that Archangel's powerful healing light. So asking my Reiki crystal to manifest that now. Also asking my Reiki crystal to create Reiki lasers between each and every bone in your body, connected to each and every other bone in your body, to manifest a brilliant web of Reiki light illuminated in your own system. So asking my Reiki crystal to manifest that now for everybody who's watching this video. And asking my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's brain and nervous system. Asking my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's digestive system. Asking my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's muscular system, especially anywhere that they're holding tension. And inviting my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's circulatory system and respiratory system. And asking my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's skeletal system. And inviting my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to all the major glands and all the major organs, in case there's anything I've missed. Inviting my Reiki crystal now to send Reiki to everybody's chakras and meridians. And inviting my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's mental body, inviting my Reiki crystal to send Reiki to everybody's emotional body, and inviting my Reiki crystal to create around you and everybody who's watching this video a Reiki temple of divine light, to just bring in as deep a healing as is possible in this time that we're sharing together. Also inviting my Reiki crystal to create Reiki holograms of my hands, performing a healing emanation on each person who's watching this video. And as that energy kicks in, some people might even feel that on a physical level, almost a presence of there being hands on their belly. So just let that again happen. And when you hear me sigh, that's just energy being released by somebody who's watching or experiencing this. Even if that's in future time, I'd still feel it and sense it. Inviting my Reiki crystal now to bring all the viewers into a Reiki meditation for deep stillness and inner peace. And also inviting my Reiki crystal to bring the cellular consciousness of each cell in your body into a Reiki meditation for self-love. Just know self-love at the cellular level. And inviting my Reiki crystals to send to everybody who's watching this video a treatment that I call Reiki treatment number 44, which is just a complex confluence of Reiki energies that are intended to lift you into a more spiritual space. So letting that happen. And again, just allow yourself to just breathe into that energy and notice it on whatever level is appropriate for you. It is my experience that people can have different variations in how they sense the energy. Some people may feel it as a heat or a tingling. Some people might just feel a sense of relaxation. Some people even have visual experiences where they see colors or even angels or other beings. Some people have auditory experiences. That's what I have. I'll actually hear things, usually during a session. And there's some people who may not have any experiences like that at all. And that's okay. Whatever your experience is fine. Know that even if you're not feeling it or sensing it or hearing it, it's still working for you. So the analogy I use is if you take a vitamin, you don't necessarily feel anything when you swallow that vitamin. But what you will notice is over time, if you take that vitamin on a regular basis, that you will start to feel better on the physical level and the mental level and the emotional level. So I use the same analogy for Reiki. Some people will feel it, some people won't feel it, but even if you don't feel it, what you want to pay attention to is if you use it on a regular basis, does it make you feel better? Does it make you feel more whole in your life? So I'm going to ask my Reiki crystal now to shift all the different lines of light that I've been sending to now be for the most gentle and most perfect form of integration. So what that means is the Reiki crystal and the intelligence of the Reiki crystal is now going to work to shift all the different lines of light that it's been sending and now help ground them and help ground you and your physical body so that you don't feel left like you're floating too far outside your body, which sometimes happens during energy healing. So just in allowing that Reiki crystal to manifest a sense of grounding and centering for each person who's experiencing this. And as that happens for some people, not everybody, but some of you may start to experience a sense of heaviness or density with the energy, which is totally normal. That's just because it's reminding you that you do have a physical body, that you do exist in a world of form. And that will run for each of you at its own pace. For some of you, it may be winding down to a close now. For some of you, it might continue for a few more minutes. But once it's done, you'll just have a feeling or a sensation that it feels like the treatment is over. And again, this is just a very kind of short little sample treatment of some of the techniques from the book Psychic Reiki. I do recommend drinking a lot of water, even if you've had a very short healing of this nature. Just make sure you drink a lot of water afterwards. And also just want to open it up to you if you have any comments or questions about your experience of it right now. I know this is the first time we've met online through email, but we haven't actually met through Skype or Zoom. So would love to hear your feedback or your thoughts about what you just experienced, if you're okay with me asking that.
Oh yeah. I experienced a very nice calm. I was able to experience rhythmic breathing. My heart, I can feel it going to a certain state, and just an over sense too, as you were talking to, just the parts that were the stress that I've been dealing with lately. I
Yeah.
kind of sense these blocks breaking through.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Good.
the other thing is, you have these beautiful meditations on SoundCloud too, so I'll get that out there too as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know we're pressed on time, so we're going to let you go. But we would like a
We
better.
can go a little bit longer. So, I had some things on my plate that I was able to get off my plate. So if you want to go for like another 10 minutes, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
If it works for you, whatever works
Yeah.
for you.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so could we go into the latest energy that you've acquired? Like you say, you have like the those other energies that I spoke about earlier.
Sure. Yeah.
Mentioned.
Yeah. So there's two of them. So there's the Light of the Eternal One energy, which again has a connection with the ancient Essenes. And the funny thing is, all of these energies showed up for me during the year of 2007. So that's when I had the visitation from Mikao Usui. That's when I got the download about this energy called Light of the Eternal One. And that's when I got the download about the magical awakening energy. All happened during that year. So whatever was going on for me that year, just in terms of feeling tapped in or more open to what the divine wanted to show me, these modalities all showed up for me that year. The Light of the Eternal One energy has one primary purpose, which is really to focus your consciousness back into a place of remembering that you are connected to the divine and that you always have been and that you always will be. So it really works just on that one thing, but that one thing can be very powerful because, for me, I feel that all of our disease and all of our suffering really comes from feeling somehow that we're disconnected or separate from the divine. So that really works to mend that. The magical awakening energy is much more playful and has a lot more tools to it. So with the Light of the Eternal One, it's really one primary hand position, which is like hands on top of the head, and that's it, and the light flows. With the magical awakening, there's 9 different levels, and each of those levels has a lot of different energetic tools. So there's a lot more to play with as an energy healer, and the energy, works a lot on physical issues, emotional issues. I just got an email yesterday from a woman who I've been working with her mother, who's undergoing chemo and some severe, issues with cancer in the form of lesions on the brain and tumors. And they just went in for a CAT scan and yesterday, and they sent me the information that it's not that the cancer's gone away 100%. It's still there, but there's been a radical reduction in terms of what's happening with her. And again, that may or may not be with the energy healing that I'm doing with her, because I'm sure she's changing her diet, she's doing chemo, she's doing other things, but it was still just a very positive thing to see that when you're working with somebody on a regular basis in terms of energy healing. So yeah, the magical awakening work I do, it's just very playful. The way I would describe it, and again, I'm not a musician, but if I were a musician, this feeling applies. I feel like when I'm doing the magical awakening energy, like I'm in this energetic jazz improv with the divine, and we're just riffing off these different energetic possibilities. And with the magical awakening, you can call in basically the energy signature of pretty much anything that exists, like the energy signature of the sounds of dolphins or whales, or the energy signature of the moon or starlight or sunlight, or the vortexes in Sedona. So you've got literally all these energetic possibilities that you can call through literally through your fingertips. And so as a practitioner in that lineage, it's just about weaving in whatever the right combination is for that person at that point in time. And so again, it has a very playful aspect to it. And my preferred modality, although the other modalities I teach I still love and still find value in, both the Reiki and the Light of the Eternal One as well.
Oh wow. And speaking of that too, so on SoundCloud they're just beta meditations mostly.
Yeah.
I was thinking if we were to play with one with a couple of musicians we have, we'll send it to you, and if you like that, then maybe we could put that up.
Sure.
On.
Yeah, I'm open to that. Yeah.
Oh, great! And the next time we interview you, I'll have my musician that was dying to interview you, but she was able to only be here on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, "Oh, wow! I'd love to put a meditation together, because me and her got into your work and stuff, and we were watching a lot of the videos that you put out there. So she
Yeah.
became a fan within a day of
Oh, cool.
listening.
Very cool.
We received
Very cool.
one of your beautiful healings that you did as well. And there was, being that we got about 5 more minutes,
Sure.
you were talking about too when you did this healing, and you had like about 140 people together, and that power that was brought through. And I was just wondering if you can go into that a little bit. That was a very interesting kind of thing. You say, that under circumstances, it's going to change, what happens, but through that particular instance.
Yeah, so sure. So I often do these group healings again at Omega Institute and elsewhere as well, and even been doing them online as well. There's I don't know if you're familiar with Mind Valley. If you've heard of Mind Valley, they're kind of like so they're an online, basically holistic education company, and they have a subsidiary called Silvana. And so recently, I've been doing work with Silvana where I'll do these online webinars that are usually free. The next one I'm actually doing is on Wednesday, May 30th, I believe. Just go to the Silvana website, and it's free, so you could tap in, and I just do healing for an hour for whoever on the planet taps in and watches that. But yeah, so with these energies, you can work on many people simultaneously, and the beauty of it is because it's coming from a divine place, it doesn't drain me at all because it's not my energy. It's not like it's coming from my own auric field or anything. I'm just simply a conduit for allowing it to move. And so if anything, I just kind of get out of the way, and I feel very relaxed. When the healing's done, I don't feel drained at all. I just feel kind of in a blissed out state. So I'm sure there probably is some upper number of like the max that I could do, but right now I don't know what that is. I know on the one Silvana one that I did like back in April, I think that had a couple hundred people to it. I don't know. So we'll see what the upper limit is for these healing possibilities. But since it's divine energy, it might be unlimited. Who knows?
Yeah, it's like you're being like partaking in the universal human, you're a human, and then you're just letting it come through.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. Well, it was great to have you on, and I appreciate your time. And I'm definitely gonna check out that from the Mind Valley, the sister of what you say, Silvana.
Silvana, yes, Silvana.com, and it probably is listed on my website under brettbevell.com. If you go into the live dates section, I think I have it listed there. But yeah, it's a free webinar that I'm doing. So again, anybody can sign up, check it out, get an hour of, a little bit is Q&A, but most of it's healing. So yeah, please check it out. And thank you for your time, for making this happen. I know we had a couple of emails that we had to work it all out, but I'm glad it worked out, and it's a pleasure to meet you virtually, and I hope you enjoyed the energy.
Yeah, I love to meet you in person sometime too, and make that happen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You have a beautiful day.
All right. Thanks. Bye, Brett.
Bye-bye.